So we will now discuss about 8086 instruction set. In this 8086 instruction set, we will have the very first model. We call it as data transfer instructions. The very first word we are going to call here as data transfer instructions. So when we say it is data transfer, when we are going to call it as data transfer, it moves from to and from memory, IO and CPU. So what will be the instructions which are going to involve? So in order to look into this composition, the very first thing will be the move. Second thing will be push. Third thing will be pop. Fourth thing will be push A and pop A. So these 5 instructions, we call it as general purpose transfer instructions. These 5 instructions, we are going to call it as general purpose transfer instructions. So data transfer, it moves from source to destination, either 16-bit or it goes with 8-bit. This is a key takeaway. 8-bit or it is going to be a 16-bit. So move AX comma DX. Now what is source? We call this word DX. We call it as source, and to AX we are moving, we call it as destination. Now move AL comma CL. That means AL is equals to CL. Content of CL was moved into AL. At this point of time, we say it is a 8-bit instruction. But when we are working with AX and DX, we are going to call it as 16-bit instructions. When we are working with AX and DX, we call it as 8-bit. When we work with 8-bit instructions, then we are taking only the byte instructions. At this case, we are going to take only the half of a value. Now, move, it is supporting 8-bit or 16-bit data transfer. So this was the first key takeaway, what we are going to happen. Next one was, I am going to have a stack, and inside the stack, I need to push some value. Then I'm going to say an insert operation. We call it as a push. Next thing, whatever operation you are taking up at the top of the stack, that we are going to delete up, we call that attribute as a pop operation. So when we deal with the stack data transfer, we will directly use push when we will directly use pop. If we are using 1086, 10286 instructions, then we are going to call that one as push accumulator and pop accumulator. We are going to call that attribute as push accumulator and pop accumulator. Up to now, we have talked about data transfer, and in this data transfer, we talked about general purpose. Next thing was simple input and output port to transfer instructions. This will be simple input and output port to transfer instructions. So we have mentioned this port. We have mentioned this port is a thing, a component we discussed earlier, which will link the I/O devices. So we have in and we have a out instructions. To deal with port to transfer instructions, we are going to use in instruction and we are going to use out instruction. So at this point of time, we can say copy port data into accumulator. This was the thing. I have some input port. From this input port, I want to move to the accumulator. The reason was it is the internal purpose of the CPU, so it goes with this input. Next thing was we have having the output port. So at that time, move or copy the content of accumulator to output port. So if we are going to have something in an accumulator and that accumulator content we want to move to the port, then we have to use an instruction called as an out. So up to now, as we studied reserved words in C, as we studied reserved words in Java and etc. Similarly, the reserved words, one, we talked about move, two, we talked about push, three, we are the stack input operation and stack output operation, followed by the input port and followed by the output port, followed by the input port and then followed by the output port. So these are the 5 different instructions as of now. Next criteria was that we have to use special address transfer instructions. The next thing was special address transfer instructions. In this, we say LES, LDS, and LEA. LES, we are going to call it as load effective address. The other thing was load extra segment, load data segment. So these two are going to be the initiatives which are going to work with these terms. So we are going to have load extra segment, we do have load data segment, then load effective address. Fine. Segments we discussed in our earlier has. One, we call it as data segment. Two, we call it as extra segment. Three, we call it as code segment. Fourth one, we call it as a stack segment. Data segment, extra segment, code segment, and stack segment. So these items we are going to prompt to load with data. Loading is get with data. Now, what is this effective address here? When we are going to talk with the version of effective address, we have physical address, it is of 20 bit, and virtual address, it is of 16 bit. We have physical address 20 bit, virtual address 16 bit. So now when we talk about a physical address or when we talk about a virtual address, physical address, it is going to deal with the random access memory. And when we are talking about a logical address, so virtual address, we call it as a logical or a virtual address. They are going to be of the segment addresses, that is 16 bit. We mentioned in our earlier discussion, memory was 20 bit, which it is occupying 1 megabyte, whereas segment is going to occupy 64 KB. So this 64 KB, it is of 16 bit. That it is pointing out to data segment, extra segment, code segment, and stack segment. But when we are talking about the physical memories, etc., then we are going to illustrate it with a 20 bit address. When we have an example to each of these instructions, it will be a better understanding than directly giving you up the instructions. Next one was flag transfer instructions. In the data transfer itself, we have the flag transfer instructions. 1 LAHF, 2 RA or SAHF. Push flag, pop flag. So load high order bits of accumulator into flag register. Similarly, SAHF, it is going to call store high order bits of flag register into accumulator. When we talk about push flag, I will discuss in detail. When we talk about the push flag, that means move the flag register into accumulator, move, or I can say insert or delete. Delete or pop the flag register from the accumulator. So these four are going to be the conditions when they derive it with the stack. Fine. In a morning class, we were talking about flag register. In this flag register, we mentioned it is going to be of 16-bit. So we have 8-bit and 8-bit. So these 8 bits, we are going to call it as most significant bits or high order bits. The other part, we are going to call it as least significant bits, or we call it as low order bits. Now, the instruction what we were telling was LAHF. That means we will load the MSB of flag register into MSB of accumulator. We will load the most significant bits of flag register into the accumulator. So how is it possible? So I just mentioned here, we call it as flag register. So it is 8-bit and 8-bit. Then we mentioned it as AX, which it is going to be with AH plus AL. Now this is also 16-bit. These are also 16-bit. Now this content will remain same, and the content what it is going to be pushed will be moved to the AH. Will be moved to the AH. So whatever flag register 8 bits are there, those 8 bits, they are moved into the accumulator. These 8 bits will not move, and the AL will remain constant. Only the transfer will happen in the upper half. The transfer will happen only in the upper half of the segment. So that is where the move operation is going to be initiated. Similarly, when I am going to use SAHF, if this is an operation is going to happen, then we are going to say store high order bits of accumulator into flag register. When we cross check this, store high order bits of flag register into accumulator. That means what is going to happen is, in the accumulator we are going to have 8 bits. These 8 bits I am going to move into the flag register. So when is it possible? It is going to be possible when we are going to say store AH that is store accumulator high order bits into flag register. The next two words were pushing the flags and popping the flags. We are going to have stack. We have A, B, C, D here, and next top of the stack and stack pointer here. Now what was the instruction was, we are going to say push flag. The instruction what we were mentioning was push flag. So when we are going to execute this push flag instruction, what will happen was, I am going to have flag register with 8-bit high order bits, flag register with 8-bit high order bits. These 16 bits will be moved to the stack. So 16-bit flag register will be moved into the stack. Therefore, this operation we are going to call it as insert operation. So there is a flag register, and this flag register content is totally pushed into the stack. Obviously, we make a push format and it goes in this direction. Next one was, at this point of time, the stack pointer is going to be decremented by 2 bytes. The stack pointer is going to be decremented by 2 bytes. Next one was to make a delete operation. So how I can delete the flag register, that is delete the flag register from stack. We need to delete the flag register from the stack. So how is it possible? It is going to be possible with an operation by incrementing the stack by 2 and incrementing the stack pointer. So we are going to move it off. So we call it as pop flag. We are going to call this item as pop flag. That is, flag register is removed. Flag register is removed. So this will be the pop operation. Directly we are working with the flag register. So every instruction is important to execute all our microprocessor instructions. These will not be as easy, as luxury as you faced in C, Java, data structures, Python or R. So this assembly language was invented before your parents are born. So definitely the instructions will be harder to understand. The instructions are harder to execute. These instructions came in the second generation computers, the two in 1950s and 1960s, and it is part of your curriculum. I have to tell you, have to listen. So the first thing, the data transfer instructions, we were talking about move instruction, push instruction, pop instruction. Next instructions was in instruction and out instruction. Then we talked about 5 instructions. Then sixth one is load effective address, uh, load extra segment, load data segment, load effective address, and then load high order bits of the flag register, store high order bits of the flag register, and push the flags and pop the flags, and push the flags and pop the flags. So these all instructions, they are going to constitute the data transfer instructions. Data transfer instructions. So we came across move, then we came across push, pop, push accumulator, pop accumulator. Then we discussed about port instructions, in and out. Then we discussed about load extra segment, load data segment, load effective address. After that, we discussed about working with high order bits of flag register storing of high order bits of flag register, and then pushing the flag register into stack and popping the flag register into popping from the stack. So these are all the reserved words. I can say these are all the reserved words which are in the microprocessor. So this all comes under the category called as data transfer instructions. That is moving from one location to another location, pushing into the stack, removing from the stack, then pushing the accumulator content into the stack, removing the accumulator content from the stack, taking the data from the port and writing it into the memory. Similarly, we have something into the on the memory and it has to be brought to the input output devices. Then we want to load the starting address of the effective address of the extra segment. Then we want to load the starting address of the data segment register. And similarly, physical address is going to be of 20-bit address and virtual address is going to be of 16-bit address. Now we need a conversion mechanism where physical address is equals to we will make the virtual address and the instruction pointer to compute the physical address. Virtual address is of 16-bit, instruction pointer is of 16-bit. Then we are going to add these two to in order to get the 20-bit address. So that is all taken care via this load effective address. And then we have a flag register. We have a flag register, and flag register it is going to have two parts, 8 and 8. So we call it as high order bits of flag register, and these high order bits of flag register, they are moving to the AH register, that is towards the accumulator. So if you are going to move the things into the high order bits of the content, then we call it as loading. Then storing the things, one for an input out, this loading for an input operation, storing for the output operation. So putting something into the stack, that is the flag register, we are moving. F stands for flag register. F stands for flag register. So pushing the flag register into the stack, we are going to call it as push operation, that is insert operation. Then removing the flag register from the stack, we are going to call here as an pop operation. So this is all regarding the first category of assembly instructions. So now let us look into the second category of assembly instructions, what we are going to call it as arithmetic instructions. We are going to call them as an arithmetic instructions. So when we are dealing with this arithmetic instructions, we have the very first category called as addition instructions. The very first category, we are going to have the addition instructions. So in addition instructions, we have some special words. One, we call it as add. Then we are going to have ADC. The other word was INC. Then it will be AAA. Then it is DAA. So these 5 instructions, they are going to fall into the first category of arithmetic instructions. So the full forms I will mention here. We are going to say addition of 2 registers or constant, whatever you call. So I can say AX is equals to some BX plus CX. So I'm going to get this accumulator value where I am going to get this is 15 and 25. So 30 is going to come and sit into the accumulator. To do that operation, we are going to say add AX, comma BX, comma CX, or I can say add AX, comma BX. So in this way, we have the instruction capacities based on instruction formats, etc. 2 instruction format, 3 instruction format, 2-byte instruction format, 3-byte instruction format, 4-byte instruction format with the displacement, etc. So that we will be discussing again. And next word was we will be having addition with carry. We are going to have this value as ADC. ADC is going to stand for addition with carry. So when we are going to call it as addition with carry, I will have 1101. Then I am going to add this as 1100. So right now I will do the addition at this point of time. So 0 plus 1 is 1, 0 plus 0 is 0. 1 plus 1 is 0, carry 1. Then I have 1 plus 1 plus 1, it is nothing but 1, 1. So this 1, 1, we are going to call it as carry flag. This 1, 1, we are going to call as carry flag. So I am considering this part, the data part, and I am going to consider the carry flag. So both I am going to consider, then it is going to be with the word called as an addition with carry. So if we want to consider the carry flag or not, that has to be decided. Carry came, should we leave the carry or should we consider the carry? So that is the criteria. Now I just want to say that I want to consider the carry, then we are going to say addition with carry. I don't want to consider the carry, I want to just make an addition of 2 numbers, that's all. At that time the answers may affect, may not affect, that is irrespective of the user. So at that time he is going to use an addition instruction. But if he is going to use up with the carry element, then obviously he is going to use this addition with carry. The next part was increment. The next emolment here to take up will be the increment. So in C++, we are going to say I is equals to I++ or I++ like this. So I++, I am going to say I is equals to I plus 1. So this word we are calling it as increment. Now I am going to say AX is equals to 35, and then I will write increment of AX. So the answer will be 36. So why this answer was 36? Because I mentioned increment of AX, that is 35 is equals to 35 plus 1. So obviously one value was incremented like I++. The same thing is going to happen in the microprocessor also. So in order to make an increment operation, so where is this used means I'm going to use a while loop, I'm going to use a for loop. So I want to move from iteration to iteration, I want to increment my values. At that time, we'll be using the increment operation or we'll be using the decrement operation. So this is all regarding the first 3 elements. Next comes AAA and DAA. So AAA stands for ASCII adjust after addition. DAA stands for decimal adjust after addition. DAA stands for decimal adjust after addition. So if we are going to work with binary coded numbers, and if we are going to use +6 as a correction factor, plus or minus 6 are as a correction factor, then we are going to say it is DAA. So in the previous class we discussed, we added +6 so that it will be neutralized to the BCD number. So in order to neutralize those things into the range, then we are going to use this instruction called as a DAA, that is decimal adjust after addition, and that it is going to be taken up with this BCD numbers. The next form was ASCII adjust after addition. So how is this ASCII adjust after addition is going to happen, because ASCII values are 0 to 127, and if it is going to be added with parity of 1 bit, then ASCII values will be from 0 to 255. Total they will be 256 characters. So American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So this is the acronym, and the full form was American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So AAA, it is going to be called as American Standard Code for Information Interchange, and for that we are going to perform the addition on these ASCII numbers, and if there is an adjustment or a correction to happen between these 127 numbers or 0 to 255 numbers. So if it is without parity, then ASCII codes are only 128 because it starts with 0. If the ASCII codes are going to be taken up with the parity form, with the the most significant bit with even parity or odd parity is going to be considered, then we are going to have this ASCII as a 256 characters. Next comes the decimal adjust after addition. The next word was decimal adjust after addition. So in this decimal adjust after addition, we will add a correction factor of +6, and we will see that it is going to be between the minimum value 0 and the maximum value 9. So that is how we are figuring out with the decimal numbers, and these decimal numbers will be between 0 to 9. So this is all regarding the first category. The next category of the arithmetic instructions. So we are talking about arithmetic instructions. So in this arithmetic instructions, we gone through one with the addition, two we taken up the addition with carry, then we discussed about the increment operation, followed by the American Standard Code for Information Interchange, ASCII adjust after addition, and then we discussed about the decimal adjust after addition. So these are all regarding the 5 instructions which are going to fall in the addition operation of the arithmetics. So next tab in the arithmetic operations will be the subtraction instructions. In this subtraction instructions, we will be having SUB, SBB, followed by DEC, and then we will have NEG, and thereby we have CMP and AAS and DAS. So these are the different instructions which are going to be in the subtraction instructions. So subtraction instructions. So in this subtraction instructions, we are going to have one subtract. So it can be performed with signed and unsigned numbers. The example was, I can say AX is equals to 35 and BX is equals to 20. Then I am going to say subtract AX comma BX. Then I am going to mention subtract AX comma BX. So obviously in the comment section, we can write accumulator is equals to accumulator minus BX, base register. That it is going to imply AX value was 35 and bx value was 20. Therefore, ax is equals to 15. So in this way, the sub BBB, that is subtraction between accumulator and the base register, is going to work. Similarly, we are going to work with signed numbers and unsigned numbers with the subtraction. But if I am going to work with signed numbers, if I am going to work with signed numbers, then I am should use subtract with borrow. We should use subtract with borrow. So subtract with borrow, we are going to call it as SBB. We are going to call it as subtraction with borrow. So for example, I am going to have this 1001, then it is 1111. So now you can see this scenario here. So I'm writing 1111. So you can look at this scenario. 1 minus 1 is 0. Then I'm going to say 0 minus So there was a drop in my net connection. Sorry for the inconvenience. Yeah, we were talking about the subtraction instruction, and this is a small example. We have accumulator with 35 and base register with 20. Then you made a subtraction ax comma bx. So obviously 35 minus 20, you get 15, and it is in the accumulator, as simple as such. And if you are working with signed numbers, yeah, we will work with these signed values, and they are going to be in the carry flag, etc. The third thing was the decrement operation. The third thing was the decrement operation. So when we are working with the decrement operation, so I say I minus minus. So I is equals to 10, and then I say I minus minus. You say now I is equals to 9. Similarly, I can say accumulator is equals to some 15, and then I'm going to say DEC of AX. So what this it is going to imply means AX is equals to AX minus 1. So answer of AX will be 14. So in this way, we are going to interpret the decrement operation. So after decrement operation, we do have NEG. So NEG stands for negation. NEG stands for negation. So what it is going to say that it is going to make a invert the bit positions. It is going to call it as a invert the bit positions and perform the 2's complement. So more or less what we can say is that a negative number converted to positive number, then we are going to use this negate. So I can say accumulator is equals to minus 35. Then I am going to say negate NEG, negate of AX. So obviously accumulator will be 35. So earlier it is minus at this point of time. Earlier negation was minus 35, and this minus 35 now it is converted to plus 35. So in order to make a negative number to a positive number, so to do that implicit conversions, we are going to use up this negate function. After negate function, the other thing was we have CMP. CMP stands for compare byte by byte or word by word. Here word is equals to 16 bits. Byte is equals to 8 bits. So when we are talking about compare is going to make an operation between 2 bytes or between 2 words. So I can say compare AX comma BX. Similarly, I can say compare AH comma BH. So at this point of time, it is doing 16-bit, and the second it is going to do the 8-bit comparisons. So I want to compare is 5 is equals to 5. So we have, I can say while I less than 10, right? Then I can say compare, and so this is where we can use for conditional and unconditional instructions, and to see that when two instructions need to be compared, which is above, which is below, so which is greater than, which is less than. So such type of instructions has to be taken up. For that, we are going to use up this compare operations. So this is regarding the compare. So as mentioned, AAS, we are going to call it as ASCII adjust after subtraction. We call it as ASCII adjust after subtraction. So when we made it as DAA, we call it as decimal adjust after addition. Decimal adjust after addition, and then we added +6 here. Now we have to make a -6. So when we made a decimal adjust after addition, we used +6 as a correction factor. Now we are going to make a -6 as a correction factor. We will reduce one number. So this it will be especially used when we are working with the signed numbers. When we are going to work with the signed numbers, then at that time we are going to use this ASCII adjust after subtraction. So after ASCII adjust after subtraction, we have the DAS, that is decimal adjust after subtraction. So -6, we are going to make it as a correction factor. So this is all regarding the ASCII adjust and decimal adjust. So now pulling up the instructions, what we learned for, yeah, there are still more instructions. The third thing, we are going to call it as multiplication instructions. The next tab will be the multiplication instructions. So when we are going to do with this multiplication instructions, when we are doing with this multiplication instructions, we have only two set of instructions. One we are going to call it as MUL, and then we call it as IMUL, then we call it as AAM. So these are the primary factors. So mul, we are going to do, say that perform multiplication between 2 bytes or 2 words. So second thing, it can be with unsigned numbers. Second thing, we have to emphasize on, we are working on the unsigned numbers. So if we are looking with this and a simple example here, we can tell that so Bx is equals to 15 and Cx is equals to 5h. Then what we can do is we can say move, we can say multiply Bx comma Cx. Now the answer is equals to as follows. So Bx will be 15 and Cx will be 17. So Bx is equals to Bx into Cx. So 15 into 5. So 75 is going to be stored into the Bx. So what we used to do was just in an English-like language, but here we are more emphasizing the same content in the assembly language. So when we keep on practicing working with the assembly instructions, these are not difficult in the instructions to understand the process, but initial stages, your mindset, you are towards with C, Java, Python, etc. Now all of a sudden there is a shift paradigm for you to go back to the previous state, and there to look into the assembly instructions, it is a difficult task. But the usage of assembly instructions was the first to do it on a computer, then only it has been developed to the high level language. So that was the takeaway. And the second thing, we have another instruction called as IMUL. So when we are going to say it as a IMUL, we are going to do multiplication between two signed words or bytes. So the number what we are going to consider, those will propagate with the sign. I'm going to say it is 1001, 1001, and then I mention it as 0000 and 0001, and I'm going to have this. So this is CL and this is BL. Then I can say IML CL comma BL. So this it is going to imply a first position. They are going to indicate the sign. So the most significant bits what we are going to consider, this most significant bits, they are going to be treated as a sign. So one, it is a negative number, another it is going to be a positive number. When it is a negative number, it must be converted to, it must be converted to 2's complement. So obviously I will say negate of CL, and after that then I am going to make the signed multiplication with the CL comma BL. So this is how we are going to work with the um, signed multiplication numbers. But when we work with an unsigned numbers, it is so simple. We have taken up with BX, we have taken up with CX, and just directly we are doing, both are going to be 16-bit numbers. It is okay. But if in the signed multiplication, if both of them are positive numbers, again there is no issues. But a case arises if any one is going to be a negative number. So how I am going to decide it as a negative number? I am going to decide it as a negative number based upon the most significant bit which is given at the 8th bit. So I verify it, and if it is a negative number, then I am going to conclude that the value should be negated, so that we are going to get the 2's complement. So how I am going to get the 2's complement means I am going to use the instruction called as negate, and after negating, then I am going to perform the multiplication into it. The other was the ASCII adjust after multiplication. So AAM, we are going to call it as ASCII adjust after multiplication. So this is all regarding the multiplication instructions. Next comes the division instructions. Next comes the division instructions. So in this division instructions, we have again set of instructions with the div, and another set of instructions with IDIV. Then we have ASCII adjust after division, followed by convert word to double word, and convert byte to word. So these are the 5 commands which are going to be part of the division instructions. So when I'm going to explain this division, we call it as divide to unsigned word by word or byte by byte. So this is what we are going to call. So divide two unsigned word by byte, or two unsigned byte by byte, we are going to mention it. So when if it is going to be such a case, then again AX is equals to some 25 and BX, it is going to be some 5. Then a simple application, division AX comma BX. So obviously what is going to happen was AX is equals to some AX divided by BX, and then uh, we are going to get the answer. We are going to get the answer into this AX. We are going to get this answer into the AX, and In AH, we will have the remainder, and in AL, we will have the quotient. So in AH, we will have the remainder part, and in AL, we will be getting the quotient part. So I'm just putting this here. So 25 and 5 is 25. So now this 0, it is going to be stored into the high order bits of the accumulator, the remainder part, and the quotient part 5, it is going to be stored into the low order bits of the accumulator. So this was the takeaway, what we have to understand here. So we perform two unsigned numbers, either byte by byte or word by word, and then we are going to make a division. So divide, this is the instruction what we are going to do, divide ax comma bx. That means ax is equals to ax by bx, and ax is 25 and bx is 5. Yeah, division is performed, it is fine. Then where is the answer storing? Answer is storing in accumulator. How is the answer storing? So how is the answer is storing means, answer is storing so that 0 is going to be a remainder which is stored into the remainder part, and 5 is going to be the quotient, and which it is going to be stored into the low order bits of the accumulator. So this is all regarding the div. The next one was IDIV. So I divide. So what this I divide is going to do was, it is going to make a signed division between two bytes or words. So we are going to make a signed division between 2 bytes or 2 words. So that is where we are going to happen with IDIV. So what was the significance? I can say +5, and I'm going to say +4. So what will happen was 0, 0, 0, 0. Let me put like this. So -5 and -4. So then I have to make a divide operation. So if there is a divide operation, so it will be like this. So 1 0 0 1 1, so 0 1 0 1. So 8 4 2 1 here, and this position it is going to mention the sign. So this is implies -5. Then -4 I have to give. So again 1 0 0 0, 4 is 0 1 0 0. So this it is going to imply -4. Then I will write negation of, and let us see, this is ax and bx. So ax is equals to -5h, bx is equals to -5h, negation of ax, negation of bx. Then I am going to make signed division ax comma bx. So this it is going to implies ax is equals to ax by bx, and the final answer will be stored in ax, and this in the high order bits the remainder is going to store, and the coefficient will be stored into the low order bits, and the coefficient it is going to store into the low order bits. So that is regarding the IDIV. So then the other interesting thing was to have with the ASCII adjust after division. The other thing was to have ASCII adjust after division. So the simpler thing was that we have an ASCII number, and We will see if it is between 0 to 255. If it is greater than that value, we will normalize it and bring this into the normalized value. For that, we are going to see ASCII adjust after division. So answer, we are going to have this in the accumulator. So, and if it is above the range, so it has to be brought inside the range. So to make that inside range, we are going to have AAD. Fine. The next two instructions here are, we can call like typecasting. The next two instructions will be like typecasting. So in this typecasting, we are going to say CBW and we are going to say CWD. One we are going to call it as CBW, another we are going to call it as CWD. So CBW stands for convert byte to word, and CWD stands for convert word to double word. Convert word to double word. So what is this distinguishes, etc. So the distinguishes here was, if I am going to call it as a byte, it is string of 8 bits. If I am going to have it as a word, it is string of 16 bits. And if it is going to be with the double, then it is going to be string of 13 bits. It is going to be string of 13 bits. So I have a byte data which is of 16 bit and it should upgrade. I'm going to have a byte data which is of 8 bits and which it is going to upgrade it to a 16 bit. So how is it possible? Means it is going to be possible with convert byte to word. So at this point of time, the instruction moves from right to left. When we are going to work with a typecasting content, at this point of time, the instruction will convert the things from right to left. After that, we are going to have this convert word to double word. So I'm going to say word is equals to 16 bit. Then you are going to make a upgrade operation. In this upgrade operation, you are going to convert it to the double word. So which I'm going to call it as 32 bits. So 16, it is going to be converted to promoted to 32. So 16 has been promoted to 32, 8 has been promoted to 16. So a smaller number is going to be converted to an upper number. So we call that word with casting and a conversion operation. So we convert from integer to bool, from a float to integer or integer to float. So how we are going to make a typecasting between the data attributes. Similarly, in microprocessor also, we have a conversion mechanism where it is not vice versa. That is only 16-bit converts to 8 bits, 16 bits convert to 32-bit, or a 32-bit will convert to a or a 64-bit. It is not that a 64-bit will convert to 32, so that is not going to be a feasible. So now let us pull up the things what we have learned for this arithmetic instructions. So in arithmetic instructions, we were talking about the first tab as addition, then the second tab we were calling it as subtraction, third tab we will call it as multiplication, and fourth tab we call it as division. So in division, we went with div for unsigned, and for signed we went with I signed. Then we made an ASCII adjust after division, and then we made convert from byte to word and convert from word to double word. So double in sense word is 16-bit, double word it is going to be of a double, that is 32-bit. So in parallel for multiplication, we have MUL for multiplication, we have IMUL for the signed multiplication. As we have ASCII conversions in multiplication, similarly we are going to have this ASCII adjust after multiplication, and these are the three things. And coming to this subtraction content, we have SUB followed by SBB, then we have the negate operation, then we have decimal adjust after subtraction, then we have ASCII adjust after subtraction. Similarly, for the addition instructions, we have addition, simple addition, we have addition with carry, then we have the decimal adjust after addition and ASCII adjust after addition. So these are some of the instructions which has been posed up for this addition tab. So along with this subtraction, it is going to have CMP also. So then we have an increment operation in an addition, and we have a decrement operation in the subtraction. So these are the 4 tabs which are going to fall in the category of the arithmetic instructions. So yeah, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, these are all going to come under the arithmetic instructions. So 1 addition, 2 addition with carry, 3 decimal adjust after addition, 4th ASCII adjust after addition, INC stands for increment, subtraction with unsigned number, subtraction with borrow, converting from a negative number to a positive number, and then decimal adjust after subtraction, ASCII adjust after subtraction, comparing and making a decrement operation, multiplication operation, signed multiplication operation, ASCII adjust after multiplication, division and signed division, and ASCII adjust after division, and converting from byte to word and converting from word to byte. So this is what the holistic unit which it is going to propagate for the arithmetic instructions. So similarly, we have the holistic way of putting the things that we are going to call with the data transfer instructions. So in data transfer instructions, we learned about move, we learned about pushing, popping to and from the stack. Similarly, pushing the accumulator to and from the stack, then taking the data from input port and storing the data to the output port. Similarly, working with the 20-bit address and converting to the logical address and physical address with the instruction pointer. So all that it is going to deal with the effective addresses, and then to load up the extra segment, to load up the data segment, we have load extra segment, load data segment. Similarly, we have flag register, which we discussed today morning, and this flag register, it is going to have 16-bit. So we can partition this into 2 parts: load high order parts, store high order parts. So loading and storing, one for input operation, another for the output operation. And similarly, we have the push operation and flag pop operation, which they are going to be provoked in this push and pop model. So these are the different instruction sets which are going to be treated for this 8086 microprocessor. So we talked about 2 categories, data transfer, arithmetic. Still we have string, still we have conditions, logical, etc., which we will be discussing in our next lab.